SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Thinking about a new vehicle? Trust the team that's been taking care of customers for 70 years. The Cannon family has helped thousands drive home happy. Come take a test drive today and see why. And remember, when the smoke clears, nobody beats a Cannon deal. Nobody.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, Mississippi.
Everything gonna be all right this morning.
Mornings with Richard Cross.
Oh, yeah.
Here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Woo! Now, when I was a young boy, at the age of 5, my mother said I was gonna be the greatest man alive. But now I'm a man, way past 21. I want you to believe me, baby.
Hello, good morning. Welcome in. Mornings with Richard Cross on a Monday morning, July the 20th. Welcome to the start of a new week, deeper into the month of July, a week closer to the start of school. We got school starting for some students in the next week or so, which is crazy, but it's kind of where we are with school calendars that have changed a little bit, and we are thrilled to be with you. It's Mornings with Richard Cross, presented by Community Bank, online at communitybank.net. Community Bank, rooted in our community. As we begin on this Monday morning, I invite you to join us on the C Spire text line, 601-879-4395, 601-879-4395. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Lance, good morning.
Good morning, RC. Yeah, I'm happy for the kids. You know, I'm glad they get to go back to school and get their learning on, get productive.
You know who's not happy for the kids?
Yeah, the kids.
The kids.
Yeah.
No. In fact, I asked my son a couple days ago. I was taking him to, picking him up from football practice, or maybe I was taking him Friday morning, and I was like, you kind of excited that start of school is getting close? He's like, yeah. I said, really? He said, wait, what'd you say? No, I'm not excited about the start of school. I was like, come on, man. It means football season. He goes, yeah, I'm not ready yet.
Yeah, if I ask my niece, she'll be all excited. You know, you ask my nephew, and he's like,
Nope. Yeah. I get that. But time marches on, and it is almost here. How was your weekend?
Oh, it's great. I mean,
yeah?
It's good and hot. Got some things done. Had a little purchase I'd put into the hopper about a week ago. It arrived. I needed to get some crepe myrtles underneath kind of trimmed up a little bit. Man, that's some work, dude.
Yeah.
You think you've cut a lot, and then you
wait. Does Garden Mama say it's okay to trim them this time of year?
Well, I mean, it's not a matter of whether it's okay or not. It
just had
to be done. Yeah, and I wasn't trimming the top. You know, it's the underneath and kind of the stuff that kind of starts getting too close to the house, killing your grass, and you got those heavy beads and a lot of fur on there. So no, before it all starts dropping in my yard, I was trying to get some of that out. Man, they just seem to multiply like rabbits. You cut one, and you're like, I got 100 more of these to do. Then there's 200. So
I've got one that's got some big limbs that need to come off.
But it's fun, you know. I mean, a good workout, feel like a pulling mule, you know, trying to get get all that stuff to where you can get rid of it. And so, yeah, productivity. Had a great weekend, though. And then the World Cup, man, what a, 1-0. Woohoo! So I thought there was going to be some crescendo there at the end of the weekend with a huge, 4-3 battle. No, it was not that. It had to be one, at the very end or something. And then you had crying, and there's no crying in soccer.
I had some yard work too, but
I know you love doing it. Did you get?
I do.
Do you do it all at once, like the mowing, the edging, the weeding, trimming, all that, or do you spread it out?
Traditionally, yes, all at once. Lately, it seems to be mow today, weed eat tomorrow, hedges, a couple of times throughout the summer, but not even all. Man, hedge trimmer the other day gave me a workout. Those things will work you.
They do. My dad has a hedgerow that's about 60 yards long, 50, 60, kind of on a slope.
Yeah.
And it's about 6.5, 7 feet high. So you get a great shoulder workout when you get to take that down.
I have toyed with the idea of buying one of those Jane. She's like, Richard, you don't need that. And I said, you have never trimmed the holly bushes. Toyed with getting like a small scaffolding. Mm-hmm. Like I'm to the point where a ladder, not only is it dangerous, doesn't really work the way I need it to.
Yeah. That was when my father, he was out there on an old wooden tripod ladder trying to do it after he'd had chemo and all that. And I'm like, dude, are you crazy? And I would come over and do it.
The best plan.
No, let's don't do this. So we got him one of those extension arm trimmers. There's a steel that has an angled head to it. Man, that saves the day, dude.
It does, but man, those
still heavy.
You work that out like shoulders up, and you have absolutely gotten a workout.
No, I do. It wears me out every time. So yeah, I know how you feel. But man, that was the one thing that kept me off a ladder.
I got one project that had been staring at me for a while. So a couple of years ago, we planted roses at the base of our chimney. Mm. Trying to get climbing roses.
Yeah.
Like Peggy Barton's
those
or
things
something.
Take off, man.
Yeah, and they've really grown well. And I had these little, I don't know, I found them on Instagram or something, these little stick-on clips. And you stick them to the brick or whatever surface, and then you kind of put the stem of the rose through it, and then it's just like a little twist tie on it.
Yeah, it just holds it up.
And they work pretty well until the roses get to a certain point, and then they start popping off, and they were falling away, and I never really found like a trellis that I wanted to put on there.
Sure.
So I went to I guess I can say Home Depot.
The Depot.
Yeah. And I was looking for, like you get the rolls of metal that you lay down before you pour concrete to strengthen the concrete.
Yeah, the hog wire.
Yeah, but I was looking for a sheet of that as opposed to a big roll of it. And I found like I don't know, it's not quite 4x8, but it's just the squares, rusty, nasty looking. And I was like, this will blend into the brick. So I attached that with a little bit of space to the brick on the fireplace and used zip ties to kind of hold the rose stems and the runners in place. And
take a pic for me so I can
highlight
it.
Turned out okay.
Yeah, you got to shoot me a pic of that so I can put it up on Saturdays. Man, we get 50, 60, 70 pics every Saturday from gardens all over the state, and it is always fun to see what people come up with because got some smart folks out there. That sounds like an extremely resourceful way to solve a problem.
Yeah, probably a redneck way to solve a problem.
It's the best way.
Yeah.
Didn't have duct tape involved though.
Yeah, it was hot when I did that, and it's going to be hot today. Iuka, 93 today for your high with a heat index of 103. Going to be 75 overnight, mostly sunny. About a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms for you. May have a little fog this morning as well.
That's like cool for these numbers coming at 93.
How about this? Yeah, Lula. Are you familiar with Lula, Mississippi?
I am.
Just north of Clarksdale, kind of right there at Moon Lake. Mid-90s to maybe 96, 97. Heat index up to 110 today in the northern part of the Delta. 77 for the overnight low. Very low chance of precipitation. It is going to be hot and humid. Madison, 98 degrees today with a heat index of 109. Sunny and hot. Little chance of showers. It's not impossible, but not likely. Hattiesburg, triple digits today, 100 degrees. Heat index up over 110. 76 for the overnight low in Hattiesburg. Slight chance of some isolated shower activity. Maybe a thunderstorm popped in there. Widespread heat advisories across the state. Basically the entire state expected to be 105 or more in terms of heat index. There is a developing tropical system in the Gulf that could potentially become Tropical Storm Bertha, and that brings some increased rain chances with some coastal impact in the week. But today, forget about it. Hot. So be careful. You can, if you want to work up a good sweat, it won't take you long.
No, just walk outside.
Walk outside. Just The lady in my, I was mowing the grass last night, and it really was not as hot at about 7 o'clock. She pulled into my driveway. We were talking. I was just kind of sitting on the lawnmower for a minute, and she's like, I got to go, Richard. It's hot. I was like, tell me about it.
No shade.
Tell me about it.
It feels better a little in the evening and early morning. So if you got stuff to do, that's what's been kind of saved me a little bit.
Yeah, good time. Alexander the Great, born on this day in 356 BC, didn't live very long. 323, he kicked the bucket, but man, did he get after it while he was around.
Yeah, he was on a heater, wasn't he?
He was the king of Macedon, one of history's greatest military conquerors, and created one of the largest empires in the ancient world. Gregor Mendel, the Austrian monk and scientist known as the father of modern genetics. He was born in 1822, did pioneering work with pea plants, establishing the laws of inheritance. And the great Edmund Hillary was born on this day in 1919, the New Zealand mountaineer and explorer. He became, alongside Tenzing Norgay, the first to reach the summit of Mount Everest. Did that in 1953. Just getting started with you. Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi. Your message is coming in on the C Spire text line. We're back with you right after this.
Good morning from the Venom.
Is Mornings with Richard Cross.
Let's do it.
Super Talk, Mississippi.
C-Spire text line 601-879-4395. Jonathan said he's going to get up and get after it. Morning, fellas. About to mow the yard before the oven gets turned up outside. Mm-hmm. Pop those noise-canceling earbuds or headphones on, Jonathan. You could pull up the Super Talk Mississippi app and hang out with us while you mow the grass. We'd be happy to keep you company.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
I mean, the buzz of the machine, you can... When you go with the electric one, you don't even have to have any noise canceling on. You can just put some earbuds in. If you have one of those little yards like I do, they work great, man. You can get up at 4 a.m. and mow.
So
and
have
nobody
you got
knows
the electric lawnmower?
I do.
You've been pleased with it?
I love it because I'm not dealing with a huge yard. But if it was like an acre, probably I'd still be okay because I like the workout. It's if it's flat. I'm not big on those hills, but yeah, it's easy to use, quiet, runs. I mean, golly, you can mow all day in that thing. It's an 80 volt, so yeah, I've been very happy with it. It's light.
There you go.
It does a good job.
I did it with the weed eater, but have not. I think I told you that, didn't I?
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to just like get up at 4 a.m. and mow, that's the best option available, man. Those things are so quiet; they're quiet as a mouse.
A couple of more, if you want to jump in. Robert Clinton says school starting in Clinton this morning.
Ooh, man,
Who
be trafficky over yonder? Everybody's getting used to it again.
On 20 July.
Yeah. Reminds me of Mr. Mom. Mr. Mom, when he has to take the kids to school and he has no idea what he's doing. There's going to be a dad today going the wrong way, dropping the kids off at the wrong building.
Mr. Mom, is that a Michael Keaton reference?
Yeah, man, that's a good one. Terry Garb,
back.
Michael Keaton, Martin Mull. Yeah.
Jimbo is not convinced that my makeshift trellis is going to work. Jimbo, I'm fairly confident. He says when it fails, go get a hog wire pin panel. They come in 4x4 sheets. I needed something taller than that. Mm-hmm. I disturbed Mr. Copperhead trimming my road bank on Friday. It concerned me because I saw the middle of him and not his head. That is from JB.
Yeah, they're sneaky, those copperheads, man. About a 5-foot one last year, or maybe about a year and a half ago, doing the same thing. I was like,
no
the
thanks.
dogs found it. My bird dog got bit on the foot, and he swole up for about a day. And ever since then, he's pretty smart about where the good old snakes are. All I got to do is watch him.
Yeah. Carlos Santana was born on this day in 1947, magician with the guitar. The Mexican-American guitarist and rock legend, founder of Santana, known for hits like Black Magic Woman and Smooth. He has won multiple Grammys. The beautiful Gisele Bündchen, born on this day in 1980, the Brazilian supermodel and actress, one of the highest paid models in history. Former Victoria's Secret angel and former wife of Tom Brady. Sandra Oh, born on this day in 1971. She's Canadian. You may remember her from Grey's Anatomy or Killing Eve or The Chair. She has won a Golden Globe and has been nominated for multiple Emmys and Golden Globes. Chris Cornell, audio rock singer and musician. He was the frontman of Soundgarden and Audioslave, big grunge rock guy. On this day in 1969, you had the Apollo 11 moon landing. NASA's Apollo 11 lunar module Eagle landed on the moon in the Sea of Tranquility. Hours later, Neil Armstrong became the first human to walk on the surface of the moon, saying, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind."
Excellent job there.
Yeah. And then Buzz Aldrin came along. I mean, being the second guy to walk on the moon, probably a big deal, but you kind of become a footnote to history.
Yeah, you got to draw straws better.
Michael Collins remained in orbit. The event was watched by hundreds of millions worldwide.
Apparently there were some other things watching them, too, on the surface of the moon.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Martians?
Who knows? Something was there.
In 1944, you had the July plot assassination attempt. By the way, if you're going to go at the king, you better not miss.
Yeah.
German army officers led by Colonel Klaus von Stauffenberg attempted, bad word in this sentence, to assassinate Adolf Hitler with a bomb at his Wolf's Lair headquarters in East Prussia. Hitler survived, though, with minor injuries, and you can imagine what happened next. The plot leads to the execution of many of the conspirators.
Hey, you got to give him credit, though. I mean, he walked the walk and talked the talk. You know?
7 years after the Apollo 11 moon landing, Viking 1 landed on Mars. The U.S. Viking 1 spacecraft became the first American and second overall mission to successfully land on Mars. It began transmitting images, conducting soil analyses, and revolutionizing our understanding of the red planet.
Hey, you see some of the new, clips from Mars. It doesn't look as red. It's real brown, and kind of southwest colors.
Yeah.
It looks really interesting. It's a lot less red.
So if you like New Mexico, you're going to love Mars.
Yeah, I mean, it looks just like it. Just not the short mesquite trees and such.
In 1810, Colombia declared its independence. It was then New Granada. Said, Spain, we're out. It was a key event in the South American Wars of Independence, led by figures like Simón Bolívar. 1954, you had the Geneva Accords on Vietnam, an agreement signed ending the First Indochina War between French forces and the Viet Minh. That's not Viet Minh, M-E-N, but M-I-N-H, temporarily dividing Vietnam at the 17th parallel.
That was one of those that, after World War II, a lot of the old European powers wanted their goodies back, and the countries that they had kind of powered over for years said, no, we don't want you back.
Yeah.
And then there you go.
All right. Can I do this with a straight face? The Mississippi Department of Health announced on Friday that 5 cases of cyclosporiasis have been reported in the state. At a press conference in Jackson, health department officials confirmed that the total count has risen from the 2 cases reported earlier in the day. That was on Friday. The illness caused by the microscopic cyclospora parasite is described as a gastrointestinal illness characterized by severe screaming Mohicans and other bowel issues. The parasite is believed to be associated with contaminated produce such as lettuce and various berries and originated from shredded lettuce served at Taco Bell locations in the Midwest.
Infected, cyclospora is a feces infection, on the actual plant. Yeah.
I mean, I'm getting there.
Okay, I'll just
All right, I'm getting there. On Thursday of last week, the CDC linked shredded iceberg lettuce that had been served at Taco Bell locations in Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio, and West Virginia to the multi-state outbreak. That is according to our state epidemiologist, Dr. Rena Dotson. Said the Department of Health is continuing to monitor the situation and will work closely with the CDC as information becomes available. The department did not release the specific counties where the cases were confirmed, but said, well, they were kind of spread out in the Delta, the Gulf Coast, and the Pine Belt regions. No treatment, so be wary of what you eat. Dotson said this, quote, there is no prophylactic treatment at this time. I just think that if you start to feel symptoms and if you know you consumed some of those products, report those symptoms early so that you can get treatment early. But there is no formal dedication that we were offering that will prevent it. Prevention is key. Wash your hands. Wash your vegetables. Make sure the vegetables are cooked. Stay away from shredded lettuce products. I think the most important thing for Mississippians to know is that it is not transmittable person to person. You have to ingest it. Taylor Farms has expanded a voluntary recall of its iceberg lettuce products shipped to 27 states, including us, amid this potential link to a diarrhea-causing parasite. The recall includes 25 shredded lettuce and salad mix products sold under 8 different brand names, shipped as recently as this past Thursday with Best Buy dates as late as August 3rd. Cisco has halted all distribution. Came from Mexico. That was the source of the issue. Cyclospora is a microscopic parasite that infects food that has come into contact with human feces. Huh? More commonly when produce is irrigated or washed with contaminated water. It's marked by frequent and sometimes explosive bowel movements, according to the CDC.
No fun.
Ugh. Ugh. Take a break on lettuce for the next few days, couple of weeks. Might not be a bad idea.
Yeah.
Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk, Mississippi. Explosive bowel movements.
From the Zebra.com.
Since you're up early, you get the news first. Back to Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi, and the SuperTalk app.
C-Spire text line, 601-879-4395. Rocky and Marks, I think I'll stay away from lettuce forever after hearing that.
Yes. The fast food stuff, definitely. Ooh.
Buy our locally grown hydroponic lettuce. I forgot, we've got the big hydroponic lettuce factory here. Or, not factory, but place where they make it.
Farm.
Farm.
Yeah. I mean, it's worth the
Greenhouse.
extra bucks. It's worth the extra bucks if you want to buy local and eat healthier.
CC says when they first said it was explosive diarrhea and coming from Taco Bell food, I was like, okay, but I thought that was normal.
Yeah.
Hey, you can't knock on Taco Bell.
And I'll crush some Taco Bell in a pinch now.
They fertilize over there with all of the solid material left behind from waste treatment plants. Seems like a bad idea.
Yeah,
Maybe we should just stick with the old cow manure. Mm-hmm. Apparently it's better than human manure. Kenny in Wayne County, eat about a pound of hoop cheese. That'll cure you.
That'll help you out a lot. No disagreeing there.
Problem is, I think you need to clean it out. Okay.
I'm just glad we haven't hit anybody yet. This one of our listeners that has been of the 5 infected.
Oh.
Yeah, thank goodness.
I feel like they'd only be able to listen intermittently. Unless they had the app and the headphones. Take it with you wherever you go.
You may need the noise-canceling headphones then.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Somebody said, Richard, did you just casually make a reference to Screaming Mohicans?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I did. A couple of other news headlines for you. Delta State has announced the lineup for the BPAC this fall and into the early winter. That would be the Bologna Performing Arts Center. Pretty good lineup. Jamie Johnson on Thursday, September 10th. Heather McMahon, Thursday, September 17th. Mrs. Doubtfire, the new musical comedy, on Wednesday, September 30th. Dwight Yoakam, Thursday, October 15th.
Not your
his
favorite.
Guitars and Cadillacs will all be there. Say again.
That's not your favorite. You're not a big Yoakam fan.
Oh, I like Dwight Yoakam fine. It's my wife that does it.
Okay.
Yeah. The Atlanta Rhythm section will be there on Thursday, October 29th, and then closing it out December 8th with the Cirque Musica Holiday Wonderland. That's the holiday circus. Indoors. That'll be cool. Hinds County's newest district attorney is calling on the state to audit the office that he recently took over. Brad McCullough, appointed to the full-time post by the governor back on July 10th, after previously holding it in the interim, has asked Shad White's team to conduct a review of his office. McCullough was the assistant DA before assuming his new role, replacing Jody Owens after he pleaded guilty for his role in the federal bribery scandal. Accountability begins with our own office, McCullough said. An independent review provides the public with objective assurance. If our practices are sound, the public deserves that. If improvements are identified, we will make them. Either way, public trust is strengthened. Seems reasonable. The state auditor's office has said our office is ready to help in cleaning up corruption and assisting the DA in getting off on the right foot so he can protect Hinds County from criminals. Time for your morning sports update, brought to you by Pearl River Resort. Online at pearlriverresort.com. Pearl River Resort is your home for casino thrills, family fun, and live entertainment. You need a place to cool off? I mean, you could go inside at Pearl River Resort. They got air conditioning running. That'd be one spot to cool off. Or you could go to Geyser Falls Water Park. You can get your tickets online, so you don't have to wait when you get there. They got snacks and places where you can get food while you're, probably not while you're floating in the lazy river.
Yeah,
Probably got to get out of the lazy river to do that. Yeah, you don't want food in the water.
Unless it's a hot dog eating contest outside of that, yeah.
Yeah. All right, here's your sports update. Super sub Ferran Torres fired Spain to their second men's World Cup triumph at what may have been Lionel Messi's last dance. 1-0 the final, the extra time defeat for Spain over Argentina. South American and European champions. It was more of a defense versus attack exercise. It's the way it was written, as holders showed spirit, but precious little else for the Argentines. Faltering Argentina failed to muster a shot across 90 minutes. Had it not been for their goalkeeper, Emiliano Martinez, it might have been a rout. Argentina was the reigning champs. They had Enzo Fernandez have to go off after a second yellow card just before extra time. Spain kept knocking on the door, and finally the substitute Torres slammed it home, slammed it shut with a goal at the start of the second extra period. So Spain gets the gold trophy called the World Cup. That's not actually a cup. Got a ball on top.
Don't cry for me, Argentina.
Few tears were shed.
Yeah.
So that was the World Cup happening in the United States. The Open Championship happening in Northwest England saw New Zealand's Ryan Fox hit the iron shot of a lifetime with a putt to follow on the 72nd hole of the Open to win the 154th championship for the first major title of his career. Needed a birdie on 18 to avoid a playoff with the clubhouse leader Cameron Young. An approach from 175, the ball flew to 11.5 feet when Sam Burns putted out for par. Ryan Fox drained his birdie putt to win the Claret Jug. Now, normally, when somebody's got a putt to win a major championship, they take a little while to look at it. From the time Sam Burns' par putt fell in the cup until Ryan Fox putted and his birdie fell in the cup, 22 seconds. He was ready to go. He was asked about it after the round. He said, I was always that way as a kid. I see things fast. I was the same when I was playing cricket growing up. I almost played every sport. Tennis, I wanted to hit the ball hard. Cricket, I wanted to hit the ball hard. Everything just happened fast. I was never methodical at anything, to be honest, and it just carried over to golf. It was only the 27th birdie at the 18th green across 4 rounds of the Open. Fewest birdies of any hole at Royal Birkdale, and it was the most difficult hole on the golf course. Fox said, I hit 2 shots exactly how I wanted to hit it. I didn't feel anything for the putt. Everything was shaking so much. I was just happy it hit in somewhat near the hole, and to see it go in was incredible. He was a 170-1 long shot entering the Open. Sam Burns, the Louisiana native, started the final round with a 2-stroke lead, but 3 consecutive bogeys on the front 9 caused him to fall back, and he was never able to make it up. Burns finished 3rd at 8 under par. And finally, SEC Media Days begins today. We've got you covered. Sports Talk Mississippi will be there, and tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday we will catch up with either Brian Haydad or Michael Borky. The first 4 teams that are up today, Kentucky, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Tennessee. Tomorrow you've got Auburn, Georgia, South Carolina, and Vanderbilt. On Wednesday it's Alabama. First-year head coach John Summerall will have the Florida Gators in Tampa. Ole Miss's Pete Golding, along with several Rebel players, will be there. And Texas A&M, led by Mike Elko, on Wednesday. And then Thursday, it all wraps up with Arkansas, LSU, Mississippi State, and Texas. Some crafty scheduling there by the folks at the SEC. They want to keep everybody around for the whole week, and so the LSU traveling circus will not be there until Thursday. But everybody's going to hang around for that.
Or show up for it, right?
Yeah. So, SEC Media Days. It's a week later this year, which means that it happens a week closer to the start of the football season. You have 6 remaining Saturdays until Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and Southern Miss begin the 2026 college football season. That's your morning sports update brought to you by Pearl River Resort. Online at pearlriverresort.com, pearlriverresort.com. More coming up. We got your Mississippi Lottery update next, and we will get you ready for the rest of the show on this Monday morning, the 20th of July. Thanks for being with us. Mornings with Richard Cross, presented by Community Bank.
Just bust the move.
Good morning from the Venable Glass.
To Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi and the SuperTalk app.
It is time for your Mississippi lottery update. For months and months, we have been telling you about the growing Lotto America jackpot. Well, now it's going to start all over. There was a jackpot winner. A ticket purchased in Coon Rapids, Minnesota, won the estimated $34,112,000 jackpot. Over $15 million for the estimated cash value. It was the game's third largest jackpot of all time. That was on Saturday night. Jackpot resets to $2 million with an estimated cash value of $880,000. Not that that's anything to sneeze about, but considering where it was. And then we've got dueling jackpots with Powerball and Mega Millions. You have a Mega Millions drawing coming up tonight. I'm sorry, a Powerball drawing coming up tonight. $544 million. Cash value on that, $241.6 million. There was no winner on Saturday night. And let's see, a Mega Millions drawing tomorrow night. It's up to $707 million. The estimated cash value on that one is $307.7 million. I know I didn't win the jackpot, so I had Powerball for Saturday, and I've told you that you should download the Mississippi Lottery app. It is free and it is easy. Just pop it on your phone, and then you can scan your ticket and see if you are a winner. I did not go back and look at the numbers, so I might have to scan my ticket and see if I'm a winner of any kind.
I mean, there were some big ones last week.
Doggone it. I needed you to load quickly as I was trying to do that live on the air. Yeah, we'll see. Let's see here. What have we got? Mississippi Lottery Claims Office last week paid out $1.6 million. They may have had to go back to the safe and pull some extra cash a time or two. Retailers paid out $4.5 million last week. There it is. Hold on, let's see here. Check my ticket. All right, scan it. What we got? Whoop, there we go. Hey, I won.
Woohoo!
I won $4, Lance.
Nice. Reinvest.
Yes. I won $4. Oh, I had the Powerball number. How about that?
Living good, man.
Very cool. See? It even does a little cheer for you.
Yes,
some
sir.
fireworks pop off on the app. Good stuff. Bunch of winners on some scratch-offs. Nothing earth-shattering, but a few winners with a comma in it. Congratulations to all the winners. MSLottery.com or download the Mississippi Lottery app. What public figure is most likely to eat contaminated lettuce from Taco Bell?
Public figure, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that.
I mean,
Sounds like a loaded question.
I mean, the president has a penchant for fast food, but he's more of a McDonald's guy than he is a Taco Bell guy, I think. We got a suggestion. This was Lance in a response on the C Spire text line saying, man, I sure do hope that Lane Kiffin has some Taco Bell before he takes the stand on Thursday at Media
Hope he's been out on the
Days.
boat for like 2 weeks and hadn't read the news. You know, it's just been crushing lettuce wraps.
Creativity on the text line. Thomas in Greenwood sending us a meme. Taco Bell store manager Anthony Fauci, speaking with the media, says that the local outbreak came from a farmer's market down the street.
Yeah. Some bats.
Well played.
Yeah, some bats in there.
Somebody sent us, hey, Johnny in West Point said he just scanned his ticket and he won $8. He's living the dream.
He doubled down on you.
Atta boy, Johnny. Congrats. Congratulations. There's another one that said it had two pictures of lettuce side by side. It says, "Oh, and you thought I was the devil's lettuce."
Yeah.
That was a picture of a marijuana leaf.
I was looking at that one earlier this morning as well. I was like, that's good.
That's pretty good. That is pretty good. 7 o'clock hour, about 40 minutes from right now, we will be joined by the Attorney General from the state of Mississippi, Lynn Fitch. I don't think she's going to make any kind of an announcement with us. I think we're going to talk about what her office is doing in terms of fighting fraud here in the Magnolia State. Got the Women's Summit coming up as well, hosted by the Attorney General. JT Mitchell will be along in the 8 o'clock hour. Glad to have you along for the ride. CC in Senatobia. Instead of follow the science, he says, I feel like I've reached the quota on that word this morning.
Diarrhea.
Oh, follow the poop trail. 7 o'clock hour on the way. Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on this show are not the opinions of TeleSouth Communications, its management, or advertisers.
Back to Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk Mississippi and the Super Talk app.
Seven o'clock hour mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk Mississippi, presented by Community Bank. Ever notice how some places still know your name? At Community Bank, that's how banking works. We're a bank that knows community because we live here. And when you walk in, you're more than an account number. No matter what your banking needs are, here you'll talk to real people who care about your goals. Community Bank, a local bank built on relationships. Stop by your neighborhood location or learn more at communitybank.net. Community Bank, rooted in our community. The 7 o'clock hour of Mornings with Richard Cross each and every day is brought to you by MWG Employer Services. If you're struggling with payroll and HR benefits and just running a business, you're not alone. It's hard to do. MWG Employer Services can help. They can simplify the process. They can put together a plan that is for you and just for you to make your business run more seamlessly. Learn more online at MWG Employer Services or give them a call at 601-206-7966. Told you earlier this morning, SEC Media Days has begun. Well, it begins about lunchtime today. It's the unofficial start to the college football season. This year, SEC Media Days for the first time is in Tampa, Florida. And we're going to get you ready for the upcoming college football season. Sports Talk Mississippi will be there live all this week. Coverage brought to you by Pearl River Resort, Cannon Motors of Mississippi, Mississippi Farm Bureau, and Trustmark Bank. The United States has gotten itself into a bit of a pickle, a bit of an untenable situation, but a spot where it appears they have the upper hand. Talking about in this conflict that is ongoing with Iran. Iran has officially said that the Memorandum of Understanding is now on hold. It is no longer in effect. As we have said on a number of occasions, who could have seen that coming? For the 9th consecutive night, the United States has conducted a new round of airstrikes. And that was after announcing the death of another American service member. The service member total for American deaths is now at 17 in this ongoing conflict. Iran fired missiles toward Jordan which is on the border with Israel. Israel activated its air defense system to shoot fragments of missiles out of the sky, ordnance out of the sky. I don't know if you say they're inching closer to an all-out war or it is happening. It has been incremental. Last month's interim deal to permanently end the fighting has crumbled. Shipping traffic in the Strait of Hormuz has largely stalled. Both sides have targeted civilian infrastructure, and the price of crude has gone back up to $90 a barrel, further fueling a global energy crisis sparked by the conflict. Nowhere is the energy crisis more evident than in Iran. We can say what we want about prices at the gas pump. Electricity is spotty now in Iran. They are having trouble getting drinking water on good days to their people. There is a blockade at the Iranian ports that is being handled by the United States military. And Iran is shooting at boats that are in the strait that are trying to pass on the Oman side of the strait, which is what the United States has encouraged ships to do. I think 4 made it through yesterday. Donald Trump, the president of the United States, says, hey, we're in control of the strait. It's probably an exaggeration. When only 4 ships can pass through in a day, nobody is in control of the strait. Saw a report on Fox earlier this morning, Trey Yingst, who's been in Israel for months now covering this conflict. He was asked a question by Brian Kilmeade and said, hey, are we close to actually controlling the strait? And he said, militarily, no. Economically, that is a different story. The exchange rate for the Iranian currency is now 2 million to 1. That the RON or the Rian, I believe is the currency there. 2 million of those equals $1. Inflation is rampant. That part of the story has not been talked about nearly as much. And if everyday Iranians who are not in line with the IRGC continue to be squeezed and they can't get water and they can't turn the lights on and they have no money of any value, there is a thought that at some point an uprising occurs. At some point. But an effective uprising has not happened yet. And Tehran has not yet directly fired at Israel. For now, Israel is sitting out this part of the conflict, though their military is on high alert. But Iran's retaliation has been at ships in the Strait and at neighboring countries, primarily Bahrain, Jordan, and Kuwait. Why those places? Because those are countries that house American bases and American military personnel are in those countries. You had a fourth American military member that was killed by an undetonated Iranian drone that they were trying to disarm. Still trying to identify the remains of so 4 total. There were 3 that were initially killed. Trying to identify the third of those 3. Marco Rubio said that the United States is willing to still negotiate with Iran, but something's got to change. He says it has to be real. He went on to say this: we're going to continue to respond. If the door opens to diplomacy, if the guys that want to do something productive for Iran win and take control of that system or take control of the negotiations, that'll be a very positive development. That's not where we are tonight, unfortunately. The Iranians say at least 50 of their people have been killed, with another 517 wounded. The national price at the pump average has gone back officially to $4. National average. It's not where we are in Mississippi. We're not a long way from it. What's the last you paid at the pump, Lance?
I don't know. I was able to fill up for like 45 on Friday, and I never do that, but I knew prices are about to skirt back up. So 15 gallons at 45-ish, so yeah.
Paid $3.60 a gallon day before yesterday.
Need that stuff to go on back down. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon.
Look, I mean, I think there are two things at play here. One, the cost for us, right? Just the day-to-day cost, the effect that it has on your budget, on your bank account, it's just more expensive. Two, midterms.
Mm-hmm.
$4 a gallon at the gas pump is not going to cut it for Republicans. Just not. Nathan says he filled up at $3.49 a gallon in Ocean Springs this morning. Cost him $103 to fill his gas tank.
There's a move to start shipping oil west, instead of going through these straits and trying to use overland pipelines. The problem is, back in, I think it was 2003, we blew it up, and it just hasn't been repaired, so they got to rehab that baby, and no telling how long that'll take, but it seems like an opportunity to bypass some problems and get the oil quicker out and without as many worries. So that'll be interesting to see how that happens, because if you're thinking Iran's currency looks terrible now, just wait until there is no traffic, in the strait of anyone but their oil.
So you've got the financial implication, and then you got the political implication as well. And I know I've explained it, and I think intellectually I understand, but I have so much trouble understanding the reactionary pricing at the pump. I know we talk about contracts and purchasing large amounts of fuel in advance and locking those contracts in, and sometimes months in advance. But, brother, that's not the way that it works when you fill up your gas tank. If there is uncertainty, the prices, boom, they go up overnight. And then it takes weeks for them to trickle down. Maybe I'm just not smart enough to understand it. I don't know. Mornings of Richard Cross. More with you after this.
Good morning from the veteran.
On your radio, on our app, or on your smart speaker. We're always free. SuperTalk Mississippi. Your home for Mornings with Richard Cross.
Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk Mississippi, streaming at supertalk.fm and SuperTalk TV. Thank you for spending part of your Monday morning with us. C-Spire text line is open, 601-879-4395. Have you taken advantage of the One plan from C-Spire? If not, what are you waiting on? The One plan from C-Spire is here, and it's been here. Fiber home internet and wireless, $99 a month. That's for new and current customers with C-Spire. One plan, one price, one experience, zero compromise. Get started now at cspire.com/oneplan. C-Spire, customer inspired. Maybe the best part of that is the 5-year price lock.
I got it, yes.
You sign on and you are locked in for the next 5 years.
It's a great deal. I'll tell you, they dropped my bill significantly, gave me a 5-year price lock. All you got to do is enroll in the auto pay. Auto pay rolled out this morning. It's there you go. You save a lot of money that way, I'll tell you. Beautiful.
Who doesn't like saving money? Doesn't feel like there are a lot of places you can do that. Hey, an update from the Weather Channel. Tropical Depression Bertha is expected to develop into Tropical Storm Bertha later today. In their best meteorology voices, they tell you that dry air and currents may stymie the ability for this to become a major storm, but if it stays out over the water long enough before it starts moving west, the warm waters of the Gulf give this storm a chance to really strengthen. Get that thing churning in the middle and throw some wind off as well.
Yeah, the song by the Grateful Dead, Bertha, that's going to be played quite a bit. Great lyrics, too. You don't know the song, it's apropos for this.
Okay. Nobody at this point is under even a hurricane watch, but there is a tropical storm watch advisory along the coast of Florida in the Panhandle, from just south of Tallahassee all the way over to Mobile Bay and right at the Mississippi state line. Now, as we go through the week, some of those warnings are going to extend. Looks like for another day it's just going to sit due south of Panama City out in the Gulf. And then it's going to start making its way west, crossing, landfall probably not until Texas, and not as a hurricane certainly. But overnight Wednesday into early Thursday morning, coastal Mississippi could be looking at some pretty significant rain and pretty significant winds to go along with it. So, not trying to scare you, just kind of giving you a heads up. If you are in coastal Mississippi or extreme South Mississippi, that may be something that you are dealing with later in the week. And again, now, if you're a longtime resident of the coast, you go, 45-mile-an-hour winds. What are you talking about? But possibility for flooding exists as well. So we'll keep an eye on that as it develops throughout the week. Starting point for a conversation that I think is going to continue to grow. Has grown, is growing, and will continue. There's this debate over whether the DSA is actually just communism disguised with a different name. And you wonder what it is that they really are interested in, what it is that they really want to do. If you don't know what the DSA is, we're talking about the Democratic Socialists of America. That is Bernie Sanders, Mamdani, AOC. It's the lunatic fringe left that is becoming far less fringe and far more mainstream within the Democrat Party. You know what they say about themselves on their website? I'll read it for you, word for it. This is not made up. This is not conjecture. This is not hyperbole. This is what they say about themselves, who we are. Capitalism is a system designed by the owning class to exploit the rest of us for their own profit. We must replace it with democratic socialism, a system where ordinary people have a real voice in our workplaces, neighborhoods, and society. We believe there are many avenues that feed into the democratic road to socialism. Our vision pushes further than historic social democracy and leaves behind authoritarian visions of socialism in the dustbin of history. We want a democracy that creates space for us all to flourish not just survive, and answers the fundamental questions of our lives with the input from all. We want to collectively own the key economic drivers that dominate our lives. Collectively is the key word.
Maybe we'll get it right this time, Richard.
Collectively own the key economic drivers that dominate our lives, such as energy production and transportation. We want the multiracial working class united in solidarity instead of divided by fear. We want to win radical reforms like single-payer Medicare for all, defunding the police and refunding communities, the new Green Deal, and more as they transition to a freer, more just life.
Sounds like a lot of free stuff would probably come with that, too. Good marketing.
When they tell you who they are, believe them. And again, this was fringe, edge, left-wing nut job stuff. It is no longer that. It's just not. This is as mainstream can get in the United States of America. Policy agenda? You want to hear this? The policy agenda for the Democratic Socialists of America. Abolish the Senate, abolish the presidency, abolish private property, scrap the Constitution, seize private companies, amnesty for immigrants, dismantle the military. They want the country that is the United States of America not to exist. When you have completely lost Bill Maher as a Democrat, you're in a bad place.
So you want to see Democrats win in the midterms?
Absolutely, and they will, because it will still be a referendum on Trump. So I think the Democrats will do very well in the midterms. 2028 is a different story, because by then, this wing of the party, this new wing with all the energy, and it's not just a few people anymore. Every day I read about a new person in some Colorado and Wisconsin, somebody who is saying some variation of not defund the police, abolish the police. No prisons, no police. Like, what world do they think we could possibly live in under these conditions? It's just a level of nutty that I'm so glad that whenever it was, I was like, no, I'm not going along, because this is where it ends.
Could you see yourself voting for J.D. Vance?
Yes. If this is the Democratic side, yes.
Bill Maher says he could see himself voting for J.D. Vance if this is what the Democrats have become. That's Bill Maher. That's not your grandfather that voted as a Democrat 50 years ago and is just kind of hanging on. Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk, Mississippi. Attorney General Lynn Fitch joins us next.
From the Seabrook
where you come first for news. Fast and free. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
Mornings with Richard Cross, presented by Community Bank. Glad to be with you this morning. Community Bank, online at communitybank.net. Community Bank, rooted in our community. Happy to be joined by Mississippi Attorney General Lynn Fitch this morning. Attorney General, thank you for your time. Hope you're well.
Good morning, Richard. Great to be with you. Thanks for having me on the show this morning, and always appreciate the opportunity to share what's happening in the Attorney General's office.
So let's jump right into that. Human trafficking, this is something that you have been talking about for a while. We've discussed it. Sometimes it's just below the surface. It's not as evident as it appears to be. How much of that is going on in Mississippi, and has there been a slowdown with increased focus and some prosecution on that?
Well, thank you, and I appreciate we do always have the conversation. I think it's important for all of your listeners to know what is happening in human trafficking, how Mississippi is leading the nation, what we're doing to eradicate it in our state. We've been very strong about standing together. You know, back in 2021, we created Be the Solution initiative, and so many people across our state, different sectors, public, private, have stepped up and been a part of that. And so now here we are, several years later, and we've done amazing work together. We just did our 65th multi-jurisdictional operation up in Starkville recently. There we recovered 3 victims, 1 child, and made an arrest. But when you look at everyone that's partnered together, the cumulative effect has been incredible. Just since that time, you know, putting the law enforcement officers together on the task force, I mean, they're ready, they're available anytime we need to do a multi-jurisdictional operation, Richard, and they can go in, and that's, again, our all of our law enforcement, our federal, state, local, the AG's office, all coming together. So in this time frame, and again, it's, leading the nation, we've trained 664 law enforcement officers. We've made 205 arrests on these predators. And here's the most significant part. We recovered 394 victims in our state. And, you know, we're recovering. We're helping them. We're helping them get back into society without any shame or blame. And that's really substantial. We have states that are looking to us now to see how we set up our task force. How do we do our recovery missions? What do we do involving all of our community that's making a difference? And we've certainly been very bold in the human trafficking space. And, you know, so many of those victims, Richard, were trafficked by a family member or someone that they loved and trusted. So we have to stand up for those individuals and help them. And one of the greatest things we've done is in our recovery task force, we now have all of our law enforcement that are there to rescue. We have sexual assault nurses, we have our shelter facilities, we have counselors, and we have survivors who are part of the task force to help these individuals when we go in.
Is there a profile, like a standard profile for a human trafficker?
Not really. Sometimes you can see that, you know, you can see these individuals in as far as profiling. If you see an individual and they're not making eye contact with you, or they might not be as clean, or they might have bruises, you know, we need someone to call us immediately and give us that information, because you could be saving a life. That individual is being trafficked. So it could be any number of different factors that might make you think that. We have created a new app called Simply Report, and it's a free app. And it's a tool for anyone that sees an individual and might recognize them as a trafficked victim. And you can download it free, and it'll give us immediate notification, and we can get law enforcement. It's also a part of our free app called AGO in Action, because we want to have access to everyone that might see an individual that might think this is a trafficker or a predator, that we can go after them.
Yeah, and I get that on the victims. Like, there's certain things that you're looking for and signals that you're looking for to try to help rescue or let law enforcement know. But what about the people that are committing these crimes? I mean, are they tied to organized crime? Are they tied to gangs? Is it individuals who've heard about trafficking and say, hey, here's a way to make a quick buck? What does that person look like?
Well, sadly enough, it doesn't. That individual, that trafficker, doesn't always stand out. We certainly have gotten a few from across the border that might stand out, but the problem is, like I said, the majority of these individuals are trafficked by a family member, someone that they loved and trusted, a boyfriend, and they are trafficked very quickly for drugs, cash, and then it becomes a way of life. And so helping these individuals understand that they are being trafficked and to help them get out. And certainly when we go in and do a recovery, we don't always keep these victims, because it's really mentally very tough for them to understand if they can come out of that lifestyle. So sometimes it takes a number of times, and they contact us back. Yeah. But one of the things we've continued to do in the communities, and again, across the state, this shows the strength in our state to stand up. We just did a human trafficking summit back in February, and, we had a number of people there, over 500, and we used it as awareness and prevention and survivor support, and we packed 550 freedom bags that day so that people across our state, and it was distributed to law enforcement, to providers, and they ran into or they recovered a victim, they could immediately give them a freedom bag, which gave them something of their own, which hopefully given this, helps them have some comfort, some dignity, and it's just a practical way to be supportive of these individuals.
Yeah. I guess just kind of putting a bow on this, how much of this starts online? I know you talked about the family members kind of selling their people that are close to them into trafficking, but how much of this starts in online meetings where there's grooming going on and things like that?
Well, there's a lot of it. Actually, there are a lot of ads. Thousands and thousands of ads that are placed out there as well. And so we are always on the lookout for those ads. We're always looking for the exploitation of these children. We run the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force as well. So all of this is very interrelated too, Richard. So, looking for those children, identifying them, talking with our partners across the country as well. Last year alone, we got 15,000 tips to our ICAC unit in Mississippi alone.
Yeah. I'm curious, it feels like in a perfect world, the Attorney General's office and the state auditor's office are able to work in conjunction. It feels like there's a lot of acrimony between those two offices. Courts have gotten involved, largely have said you are the entity, you as the Attorney General and your office are the entity that has the ability to prosecute and go after criminals. Is there any repair of the relationship between these offices, or does it matter?
Well, I'll say we're very focused in the Attorney General's office on our duties, responsibilities, our accountability, certainly the litigation, managing, and out there, because the ultimate goal is to be protective of all Mississippians. To move forward in every capacity that we can to protect Mississippians. And, you brought up an interesting point, too. One of our roles has been very focused, many of our roles, but one particular has been, we've been fighting fraud. We're seeing that happen in our state and in our country. So we've been engaged in fighting fraud ever since I've been very blessed to be the Attorney General. But, just recently you saw our office come forward and indict 11 people on Medicaid fraud. That was $12.3 million. And these individuals, were fraudulent billing, wire fraud, false documentation. They were doing all they could to defraud the government and to take our taxpayer dollars. So we partner with, again, many of the task force. And on this particular one, it was the HHS Office of Inspector General and the National Healthcare Fraud Takedown. So we just recently did that in June. And that shows that it's out there and that, again, across our country, we're working together. But, going after fraud has not been new for the AG's office, and not including those indictments. We've had over 58 criminal convictions. We've had 61 civil cases. We've collected in the state of Mississippi $101.5 million for Mississippi. So it's pretty significant. And, most recently, state of Mississippi, I'm proud to be a part of the White House task force to eliminate fraud. We met with the vice president in May. In Mississippi, I brought up a 5-point plan to really unleash the AG so we can fight fraud, give us more opportunities to do data mining, share information, do away with all the past Obama and Biden era rules. And now we are working as a task force to put all that into action, and it's been very significant. It's been very beneficial. You'll see us, all the states collectively, and in Mississippi, come forth with even more fraud indictments.
Attorney General Lynn Fitch, I know we're short on time this morning. I appreciate you coming by, getting ready for the Women's Summit. We've only got 30 seconds until the break. Monday, August 31st, Tuesday, September 1st?
Exactly. We would invite all women, please sign up. It's a great, empowering summit. We've got incredible speakers, Riley Gaines, Sarah Thomas, Elizabeth High School, great entertainment, Mary Ryan Brown and Holly Williams. So the other piece of that is we've got over 100 women-owned businesses so far. This is all a free event. And if you're listening and you're a woman-owned business, come sign up. Come be a part of it as a woman vendor. It's all very important for us all to be together. And we'll have some great things to talk about, empowering women. And SuperTalk will be there, too. So we're very excited that you all be there.
Attorney General Lynn Fitch, thanks as always for your time. Great catching up.
Thank you. Great to be with you.
We'll talk soon.
Good morning from the
Mississippi for news. Fast and free. Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi.
Getting born in the state of Mississippi. Papa was a copper and the mama was a hippie. In Alabama, she was swinging a hammer.
Back with you, Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi, presented by Community Bank. Thanks to Attorney General Lynn Fitch for joining us this morning. We talked a little bit about their fraud work, some about human trafficking as well. No bait taken in terms of the question about the relationship between the Attorney General's office and the state auditor's office. And I wasn't trying to paint her into a corner on that. It's just we've seen very, very publicly this, like, lawsuits, major lawsuits, in which judges have found and ruled that the Attorney General's office is the office that has the ability to go out and try and prosecute and indict, despite the fact that the auditor's office has been trying to do that. And judges have very clearly said, hey, the auditor's office is to investigate, to uncover the fraud, and turn the results over to the AG's office. The AG's office job is to go prosecute them. The human trafficking conversation is scary. It's rampant. And a lot of good work. I mean, a couple hundred people that have been, perpetrators that have been put in prison. And a lot of victims recovered as well. And for those of you that are listening, you're like, Richard, I can't believe you didn't ask her about governor. They're limited on time. And honestly, and you might say, well, Richard, you're not going to get an answer if you don't ask. Lynn Fitch knows what she's... I mean, you listen to how she answered the questions that I asked her a second ago. She's going to say what she is ready to say, what she wants to say, and when she wants to say it. It is generally thought, though, in political circles in Mississippi that it is a foregone conclusion that she is going to be in the governor's race. Try to become the first female governor in the state of Mississippi. Thomas says, why ask? She won't tell anyone until she's ready. And look, I mean, again, we are at a point where I would be shocked if the Attorney General does not run for governor. Not that she makes an announcement. Bubba says she will be a candidate for governor. She's already answered that question on Gerard's show. Sorry, I missed it. But no, I don't think she has publicly made an announcement that she's running for governor, Bubba. I mean, she may have alluded to it. There has not publicly been an announcement. I asked her about it a year and a half ago. She was early in this term as AG, and she certainly was not ready to talk about it then and has not been yet. But when the time is right, she will. I mentioned to you a couple of weeks ago that there were some people that thought that the Neshoba County Fair this year would have been the right spot. Clearly, she and her team were not, but on the anniversary of the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade, a lot of people that thought, hey, that would have been even if she didn't want to go full campaign rollout, she could have announced it without announcing it that day. But it feels like there's a plan in place. You see the vice president and the second lady have now welcomed another child, their fourth. J.D. and Usha Vance welcoming a baby boy. It's the first time in a century and a half that a child has been born to a sitting vice president's wife. Alec Neil Vance joining 9-year-old sibling Ewan, 6-year-old Vivek, and 4-year-old Mirabelle. J.D. Vance announced the birth on social media because, of course he did. That's where you go to announce anything. He said, we're excited to announce that our baby boy, Alec Neil Vance, was born this morning. Usha and the baby are happy and healthy, and our kids are overjoyed to meet their little brother. White House medical team and Walter Reed were the medical crew that was involved. This is, I don't mean this to be crass at all. This is a put your money where your mouth is for J.D. Vance. He has been a huge advocate on families having more children. And so J.D. and Usha are doing their part with their fourth just arriving. Apparently mom and baby are both healthy and happy. Congratulations to them. 8 o'clock hour on the way. Mornings with Richard Cross. Super Talk Mississippi. We're back with you right after this.
From the heart of Mississippi to the halls of Washington, D.C., this is Mornings with Richard Cross, your source for hard-hitting political insight and unfiltered truth. Now, here's more on Super Talk Mississippi.
O'clock hour, Mornings with Richard Cross. Today is Monday, July 20th. We are glad to be with you alongside Lance Talbert. I'm Richard Cross. Mornings is brought to you by Community Bank. When it comes to money, trust isn't automatic. It's earned. That's why Community Bank does things the old-fashioned way. When you come to us, we take the time to listen to you and discuss any questions you have. Whether you're saving, spending, or planning ahead, you'll find bankers who know the community because they're part of it. Community Bank. Banking designed with you in mind. Visit us in person or online at communitybank.net. Rooted in our community. Thanks for joining us today. Talked about this in the 6 o'clock hour. I don't know that you need a weather forecast to know that it's going to be hot, but it's going to be a special kind of hot today. Basically, the entire state of Mississippi with a heat index of 105 or higher. If you got to be outside, take a little extra care. Know that we've got a lot of listeners that work outside, whether you're in and out of a truck, more out of a truck than in a truck. Landscape crews, farmers, construction workers, folks that are on roofs, folks that are working on foundations for new houses and commercial buildings, plumbers that are outside. A lot of folks outside. Be careful today. Be careful. It's like hot. Going to have to take some breaks along the way, drink a lot of water, hope you're conditioned to it. It's kind of hard to get conditioned to this, but I guess if you've been out in it every day all summer, you're probably a little more used to it. But please be careful.
Just put a hot, wet rag in your mouth and go run about a mile, and that'll work you into the equation as far as conditioning. The humidity.
Hot, wet rag and go.
Just jam it in your mouth as far as you can and go run a mile. That's basically
Lance will send flowers to your funeral after you do that.
It's brutal out there, man. Y'all got to be careful.
Rough. But thanks to all of you who are listening and also working in the heat. Talked a little about the Democratic Socialists of America in the 7 o'clock hour. And I'm curious how much you're paying attention to what's happening. I feel like where we live in Mississippi, we're isolated from a lot of the impact of national politics. Mississippi is a solidly Republican state. There is no drama when it comes to who the state of Mississippi is going to support in a presidential election. There hasn't been a lot of drama. There's a little bit, but not a lot of drama in gubernatorial races. And we're able to kind of operate the way we want to operate. Conservative leadership within the state. But because of Mississippi's size, we don't register on the national kind of media radar the way Florida does. I mean, everything Ron DeSantis says becomes national news. Everything Greg Abbott says in Texas becomes national news. Less so here. And because of that, I do wonder, like, how closely are we, as a state, paying attention to some of what's happening? I think most people know that the mayor of New York City, Zohran Mamdani, is a Democratic socialist.
Well, that leads to communism. I've never seen it not. So,
oh well, yeah. I mean,
at some point we got to call it what it is.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez just had a speaking engagement in Tennessee. And look, if you want to just write off AOC as a loudmouth idiot, you're doing so at your own peril, because within the Democrat Party, she's got some sway. She got some stroke. She is a far more connectable Bernie Sanders. Like Bernie was the crazy Uncle Grandpa that kind of talks funny from the Northeast, that had these out there ideas, but he just kept on plugging and kept on plugging and kept on plugging, and the people of New Hampshire have put him in office year after year after year after year. But you never really felt like Bernie Sanders was a threat. But do you, when you look across Congress and you see that more and more, not just Democrats, but radical, socialist, hoping for communism Democrats are in office? AOC, Ilhan Omar, is it Duckworth?
It's the brain
Nutjob
trust.
Duckworth.
Yeah, it's a brain trust. These are the folks you want leading stuff. That's for sure.
Hakeem Jeffries doesn't know what he's for. He just likes being in power. But he's scared to death he's going to lose to one of these Democrat socialist candidates that pop up. I read to you earlier. This is from the DSA website. We want to collectively own the key economic drivers that dominate our lives, such as energy production and transportation. When they say collectively own, that means state-owned. Now, an anti-Donald Trump person would immediately go, well, does anybody want to tell Donald Trump that socialism is bad when the United States is taking stakes in companies? There's a difference in investing in and owning and controlling. The idea of the United States taking positions in highly successful companies has more to do with something that he floated during the campaign in the early days in which he was in office when he talked about a sovereign wealth fund. And it was the idea that we could wealth our way out of debt. That seems to not be working very well. As you look at the just enormity of both the deficit and the debt that exists for the United States. That's a conversation that's different altogether. Here's the thing about socialism. You create this utopian idea of the collective. We're going to give to everybody. We're going to pool all of our resources, and then we're going to distribute the resources, and we're going to make sure that everybody has a job. What happens when you don't like your job? And you go, I'm not doing that. Well, you still get the resources sent your way. Well, who's going to do the job? Oh, it doesn't get done? Well, who's the one assigning the jobs? Oh, wait, you mean there's somebody at the top? Somebody who's going to say, no, it's going to be done this way? Yes, there is. That person is called a dictator. And you can dress it up all you want to and say the president of Russia, the premier of Russia, he's a dictator with communism, where if you dissent against the government, see Russia, see Iran, see Nazi Germany, you are killed. There is a group, and it is a growing group, in the United States that wants to tear apart, to dismantle the greatest political experiment in the history of the world. That is our constitutional republic. They want to dismantle the Constitution of the United States of America. And there are a shockingly large number of people that are okay with that idea. Back with you right after this.
From the Venable Glass Traffic.
From the heart of Mississippi to the halls of Washington, D.C., this is Mornings with Richard Cross, your source for hard-hitting political insight and unfiltered truth. Now, here's more on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Mornings with Richard Cross. Thank you for being with us. Don't forget, Sports Talk Mississippi is in Tampa, Florida this week. Free state of Florida for SEC Media Days, the unofficial start to the college football season. Getting you set for college football. 6 Saturdays that you have remaining. 5 if you count week 0 games. And you're just going to stop functioning as an adult human being during that weekend. 4 if you're going to watch high school games the week before. But you've actually got 6 Saturdays until Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Southern Miss start their season. Borky and Haydad are going to get you ready to go for the season upcoming this week in Tampa. Ole Miss will be there Wednesday. Mississippi State will be there Thursday. Sports Talk Mississippi's coverage of SEC Media Days brought to you in part by Pearl River Resort, Cannon Motors of Mississippi, Mississippi Farm Bureau, and Trustmark Bank. A little strange not being there.
I was wondering when you were going to feel it.
But that's all it is, though. I mean, it's just kind of a little strange. I am not having withdrawals at this point. So they'll do Borky and Haydad and Houston there to man the technical ship will be fantastic. I did not sit down and watch the SEC network special last night. Saw some of the clips. I mean, they're hot taking, and Ole Miss is very much part of the conversation in all of those hot take conversations. A lot of folks not sleeping on the Rebels, but not buying necessarily. We'll see where that goes. Because we're going to play the games, and a scoreboard will have lights on it. Gosh, it's close. High school football, August 21st. That the first weekend? Is that right?
You put me on the spot there. I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
I will be ready, though.
Yeah, I know you will be. I think that's right. I think it's 2 weeks before. Maybe let's see, the 21st is a Friday. We may be Jamboree weekend on the 14th.
I know we're close. I think 21st, or I could be wrong.
Yeah, that Thursday night the 20th and Friday night the 21st, I think, is the weekend that high school football begins.
That's what it looks like, but I think it may be staggered a bit, too. And you have MAIS may start a week early. Yeah, they usually do. Mm-hmm. Start a week earlier and finish a week or two earlier as well. Let's see here. This we've got second quarter campaign finance reports for candidates in Mississippi. Some of these numbers are kind of interesting. Cindy Hyde-Smith, in her bid to remain as one of Mississippi's 2 senators, reported raising a little more than $781,000 between 3 committees supporting her reelection bid in the second quarter, with a little over $2.5 million cash on hand. Her main opponent, her Democrat opponent, Scott Colomb, boasted of raising more in the second quarter than Cindy Hyde-Smith's campaign did, $847,000 this quarter, $945,000 between the committees backing his candidacy. I'm sorry, $945,000 raised in the quarter, but the disparity is the cash on hand. $2.5 million plus a little bit for Cindy Hyde-Smith, $847,000 for Scott Colomb. But his cash on hand balance this quarter went up about $300,000. Ty Pinkins is running as an independent. His latest campaign finance report is not showing up with the Federal Election Commission, at least not currently. At the end of the first quarter, he had $632 cash on hand. You can't go far with that.
It won't go far. Second District House of Representatives race among the congressional candidates, the one with the most money, Benny Thompson, the 30-plus year incumbent with almost $1.5 million in cash. His general election opponent, Ron Eller, has $36,000. Benny Foster, who is an independent candidate in the race, has not filed a campaign finance report, which probably means he doesn't have any money.
Less than $6, maybe.
In the 3rd district, Michael Guest reports $936,000. His Democrat challenger that we talked with at the Neshoba County Fair, Michael Chiradio, with $23,000, and Libertarian Eric Keeley, no report with the FEC. Trent Kelly has $864,000. His Democrat challenger, law professor at Ole Miss Cliff Johnson, has $150,000. And then in the 4th district, Mike Ezel with $123,000. That's the least among Mississippi's federal delegation. Carl Boynton, the candidate perennially who was once a Republican and who has previously endorsed Mike Ezel but has switched over to an independent, has $42,000. State Representative Jeffrey Hulum, who is the Democrat in that race, has $6,500. So, you can join the conversation on the C Spire text line, 601-879-4395. So where does the leftover money go once elections are over, especially the loser? It's rare that the loser has much money left, and the winners keep it in campaign accounts that they spend in the future. I mean, Benny Thompson has not raised $1.5 million in this election cycle. It's money that is left over in campaign accounts. You can't just put it in your pocket, though, when it's all said and done. Those dollars usually, if there are leftover dollars, get put into other races, theoretically. You're not convinced of that, Lance?
Well, I mean, you raise a lot of money, you're not writing checks back to the people giving it to you. So, yeah, there's always going to be a use. No refunds on it. So it's going to get used, and a lot of times, as you just said, you have perennial candidates. You know, they're going to keep that war chest. They keep some of it in there in the hopes that they'll run again. And maybe if that doesn't happen, you'll have to just distribute it some other way.
Yeah.
But, yeah, money's the name of the game here. This is going to be an epic battle. I mean, I perceive, as you and I've said, this is going to be the most costly election in the state's history.
Well, looking ahead to the state races next year.
Yeah, that's
these
what I mean.
Federal races, I mean, there's plenty of money. But the money that is being raised already in state is staggering. When you look at the candidates and potential candidates and the amount of money that they've got on hand, Lynn Fitch, Shad White, Philip Gunn, Andy Gibson. Who else is declared at this point? And not all of those are declared.
We don't know about the Lieutenant Governor.
Lieutenant Governor's got pretty good war chest on hand. And then the wild card that we've talked about that we still kind of wait and see on is Tommy Duff, the most successful businessman alongside his brother in the history of the state of Mississippi, or certainly one of. I mean, if you don't necessarily, if you say, well, inflation and whatever else, it's a small group, and he is part of it. And that could certainly tip the dollars in terms of the governor's race a year from now. John in Pontotoc says, is Delbert going to run for anything? I lean in the direction of no, but I don't know that for a fact. I don't know if that decision has been made fully and completely. But my inclination is you will not see the lieutenant governor's name on a ballot a year from now. JT Mitchell from the SuperTalk Mississippi News Team will join us when we come back. It's Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Shake it up. Shake it up. Shake it up.
From the seed.
It's time to get real.
Keeping it real
It's time for you to get real with it.
and keeping it Mississippi. Your voice for statewide and national politics. Yes! Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi.
That news means that it's Super Talk Mississippi news time with JT Mitchell, the news director for the Super Talk Mississippi News Team. Before we begin with JT, I first of all, to the lady that called Lance to bend his ear, thanks for listening. Second, my apologies for my geography miscue when I said Bernie Sanders from New Hampshire. I even doubted that as I said that. I know, just like you do, that Bernie Sanders is Vermont. I hope is from Vermont. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me for my geographical slip of the tongue. As to your thought that everything I said about the Democratic Socialists of America is propaganda, ma'am, I would direct you to the Democratic Socialists of America website. The web address is dsausa.org. There is a part of their website labeled, "What is Democratic Socialism?" Everything that I said about the DSA came directly from their website. I would also direct you to a place called Merriam-Webster.com, where perhaps you can read the definition and have a better understanding of the word propaganda. Because, sweetheart, that wasn't it. And when I say sweetheart, I promise I'm not talking down to you. It was just for emphasis. Good morning, JT.
I also direct your new friend to supertalk.fm to keep up with the latest news across Mississippi. What's up, Richard?
Hey, pal. We have the Nolan Wells funeral this morning, correct?
Yeah, we do. It's going to happen in Ocean Springs at Center Point Church from 9 a.m. until 11 a.m. We got word from his mother, Christine Wansley, last night that it's now open to the entire public. Last week when they had the press conference outside the district attorney's office, they announced that really we just want friends, family, teammates, classmates to come, former coaches. But a lot of people want to be there is what I've heard. And so the family, the organizers have changed it up where the entire public is welcome at the funeral this morning. But there are a couple of notes. Number one, she said, if there are any protests, please stay peaceful. She said, quote, Nolan would not want violence. And then, of course, some other notes like have your cell phone off. Another note that was interesting was if you're coming to the funeral to try to meet somebody famous, don't come. This is a time to remember and honor our son's life, who died at 18 years old. So that's happening today from 9 to 11 a.m. at Center Point Church in Ocean Springs. There will be pretty much a celebration of life afterward at the Jackson County Fairgrounds. Now, that one is not open to the public.
Regardless of how you feel about some of the rhetoric online, publicly, in press conferences and more, the family deserves a time to mourn and a time to celebrate the life of Nolan Wells, who who's gone far too soon. Regardless of the circumstances surrounding his death, this is a young man who was in the prime of his life, moving toward the prime of his life, with so much opportunity in front of him, and he's no longer with us, and that's sad in all of this. On the the news front, it feels like it's been quiet for the last week or so.
Yeah, it kind of feels like we've just been getting updated updates, if that makes any sense at all. Yes, we know that law enforcement is trying to find answers, trying to find any information that may advance the case. But we found out, I guess, a couple days ago that the Jackson County Sheriff's Department has conducted something like 60 interviews. So that's kind of an updated update, right? We still have not gotten the results back from the state-ordered or the independent autopsies, and those could provide information that give answers. I think you hit the nail on the head when talking about that a lot of people are missing the forest for the trees. I guess that's the metaphor I'll use. We're talking about all of this stuff going on. People are talking about all of this stuff that could have happened, but I haven't seen many people say, we have to remember this is a tragedy. We have to remember that these are human beings. This is a family, a set of parents who are about to bury their son at 18. That stinks. That really does.
Yeah.
And so I encourage everybody, of course there's a lot going on. Stuff is going to continue to be said. But what we're doing as a newsroom is waiting on law enforcement. We're keeping up with the press conferences from the family, their attorney, updates on their independent review of the situation. And as soon as we get answers that can be reported, we will report them. I just encourage people to remember that this was a death, and the death of a kid who, by all accounts, was a great person, great teammate, great student. I think today, with the funeral happening, is a good time to remember that this is a tragedy.
Yeah. I think I have other thoughts, but maybe today's not the day to share them. We'll pass those along. We will see if the family's attorneys provide any updates as far as their independent investigation goes. That's been pretty quiet outside of some allegations. A lot of people, JT, talking about lettuce.
It's the talk of the town, Richard. Did you have a salad over the weekend?
Yes.
Me too.
Saturday night I had a salad as part of my dinner.
Godspeed to you. I had one Saturday night as well. I did ask the restaurant we were eating at what brand they used.
Did you?
I did. But the only brand that we know of as of now that could be connected to this nationwide outbreak of, a lot of people are just calling it the diarrhea-causing illness, but its real name is, let's see if I can hit this on the head, cyclosporiasis. That's its real name, and this illness is something I don't want to catch. It's something nobody out there listening wants to catch. I mean, symptoms include, and this is disgusting, but I'll say it, severe watery diarrhea, vomiting, nausea, stomach cramps.
I just referred to it earlier as the Screaming Mohicans.
Refer to it as something I don't want. Stay away from me. But we do know that Taylor Farms could be potentially connected to the parasite. And so on Friday, they issued a voluntary recall. Little background, we already knew their lettuce was connected to some Taco Bells in the Midwestern states. Props to Taco Bell immediately removing lettuce. But Friday, Taylor Farms extended that recall to 27 states, including right here in Mississippi.
Have you seen the news this morning that they are saying that the Taylor Farms lettuce was a false positive?
Now, how's that work?
I don't know. I don't know. But apparently the FDA has said to...
And that could be true, but somehow this parasite is getting out there. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Taco Bell uses, or most Taco Bell franchises uses Cisco. Cisco delivers a ton of Taylor Farms lettuce, and they've stopped doing that, at least Taylor Farms lettuce that goes back to that lot in central Mexico. But maybe it was a false positive. Either way, Just be wary of what you eat.
Assuming this is real, yesterday FDA informed Taylor Fresh Foods that one of its iceberg lettuce products from central Mexico had a confirmed positive test for cyclospora. Today we were informed that FDA made a mistake, that this was a false positive. To be clear, at this moment, FDA has not identified a single positive product test result for cyclospora. Acting on initial information provided by health officials, in an abundance of caution, we completed a voluntary recall of iceberg lettuce from central Mexico. All other Taylor Farms products, including all Taylor Farms brand products, are not involved in the recall, but the recall does remain in effect.
So I guess what we're getting around to is maybe it's not coming from Taylor Farms, but if you got lettuce out there and you're thinking about eating it, just be wary. The Department of Health says wash it more than usual. Wash your hands more than usual. If you're talking about other produce like veggies, man, cook those bad boys up. High temps, thoroughly cooked, that will kill the parasite. But tracking these numbers is kind of interesting. I mean, I knew that this parasite was around. At this point last year, 249 cases. How many do you think are reported right now, Richard?
I believe it's 1,600.
Oh, you cheated. 1,645 with an additional 5,000 potential cases, including 5 in Mississippi, Gulf Coast, Delta, Pine Belt regions. Be wary of what you eat.
You got it locked into Mornings with Richard Cross. We got more coming up with JT Mitchell on the other side of this timeout.
From breaking news to bold opinions, Richard dives into the stories shaping Mississippi and the nation. Now back to Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Follow up to the story that we had last week with JT Mitchell in the aftermath of the Major League Baseball draft, where we talked about a couple of Ole Miss pitchers being taken in the first round. Taylor Rabe has signed with the Royals for almost $3.2 million. Congratulations to him.
Share the love, Taylor. We've been giving you a lot of positive coverage.
What, you want a check from him?
Sure, why not?
Jeez.
I'm just kidding. Great stuff. 24 players from Mississippi drafted.
It's very socialist of you.
Oh, come on now.
Feel like that, you know what, somebody else...
Your friend is going to get after me. Is that definition coming from the website, Richard?
I mean, I'm just saying, you want somebody else to take what they earned and put it in the pot so that we can all get some of it?
All right, get Bernie on the phone. And by the way, he is from Vermont.
Yes, I'm aware. Thank you. Thank you.
Him and Ben and Jerry's. That's the best thing Vermont's ever done, by the way. Yesterday was National Ice Cream Day. Ooh, give me some Ben and Jerry's.
I'll pass. Bluebell, please.
Okay.
It is hot outside. It was hot this weekend. It's going to be hot across the entire state. Heat indices 105 plus. And we had some schools that have started back today.
Yeah, I mean, I saw this morning that Clinton public schools are back.
Yep.
Some others are back. It's not even August yet. I don't know what summer is anymore. I know that all these people have these modified calendars. And I think there are pros and cons of that, sure. But that's crazy to me. I never started in July. And y'all were talking about high school football. That will also be here ASAP. I think the first game I have to be at is August 21st.
Okay. So that's the weekend that we were talking about. It's kind of when when it all gets rolling.
So if you are out there practicing for whatever sport, be careful. It's hot, like Richard said. Yeah, this week, at least Monday through Wednesday, all 82 counties, it'll be in the upper 90s, but it will actually feel like somewhere between 105 and 115.
Starkville School District started today as well.
Did you ever start that early?
No,
None of us did. We were all August kids.
No, we've gone to the hybrid calendars the year round. hybrid. Most districts have not gone to a full year-round school schedule, but you've got a lot, including where I live. I mean, the Oxford School District has gone to kind of a hybrid calendar. Summer's a little shorter. You got fall break that's mixed in, a little bit longer at Thanksgiving, a few more off days that are mixed in.
So
and teachers have advocated for that because the retention supposedly is greater year to year when you have a shorter summer.
Yeah, and then
some teachers have advocated for it.
On the flip side, you send kids home for 2.5 months and say, read these 3 books. Most of them don't. I think that year-round school, you probably don't have as many brain dead days. We'll put it like that.
My girls start back on August 3rd, I think it is.
That's 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks from today.
Wow.
Yeah, it gets here quickly.
So if you're outside today, whether you're practicing or just working outside, drink lots of water. Drink more than usual. If you start to feel bad, go find some shade. Go find some AC. It is a dangerously hot start to the week. The northern part of the Delta, including Tunica, Clarksdale, Cleveland, Greenwood, Greenville, under a significant heat threat. The rest of the state, an elevated heat threat. So no matter where you are, if you're in this state, it's hot.
That is correct. And we've got coverage this week from SEC Media Days in Tampa, Sports Talk Mississippi. Brian Haydad, Michael Borky going to be there all week. You've got Ole Miss there on Wednesday, Mississippi State there on Thursday.
That's correct. So Wednesday, Pete Golding is supposed to address the media at 12:30 Central. The same on Thursday, but with Jeff Levy. Of course, the guys from Sports Talk will be there. Caleb Sailors with the news team will also be there. We're going to be covering this deal like a blanket. If you can't make it to Tampa or want to feel like you're in Tampa, go to supertalk.fm or tune in from 3 to 6 each day. Hey, Richard, I got a question for you. You're in the know. Is it a purposeful move by the SEC to not put Ole Miss and LSU on the same day?
I would say it's strategic because if you look at the layout, they've got storylines that are spread out through the week. I think it's purposeful that LSU is on the last day because everybody wants to be there. You got LSU and Texas on the last day. So today, Kentucky, Missouri, Oklahoma, Tennessee. Tomorrow, Auburn, Georgia, South Carolina, Vanderbilt. Everybody's going to be there for the first couple of days anyway. Alabama, Florida, Ole Miss, A&M on Wednesday. Arkansas, LSU, Mississippi State, Texas on Thursday. I think there's strategy there, but I don't think they were intentionally keeping Ole Miss and LSU apart.
That'd be awesome, though.
That would be quite the day, wouldn't it?
Quite the day.
Thank you, JT.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks, Lance.
Thanks, Lance.
All right, my man.
Monday in the books. We'll do it again tomorrow morning, just after 6 o'clock. Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi. Take it easy on Lance when you call him. He's a nice guy. You don't have to be mean to him. Just save the meanness for me. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Mornings with Richard Cross, presented by Community Bank.
A Super Talk Mississippi media production.